1982 Washington Quarter. Value, generally worth face value unless in uncirculated condition, which could raise the value to $1 to $5. Special variants, proof sets from this year are often more valuable, particularly those from the San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. Errors, as with other years, minting errors like double dies can increase the coin's value significantly. 3. 1983 Washington Quarter. Value, common and typically worth 25 cents unless in mint condition, uncirculated, which might bring a premium of a few dollars. Error coins, some quarters from 1983 have been found with errors like die cracks or off-center strikes, which can bring extra value if they're confirmed by a professional grading service. 4. 1984 Washington Quarter. Value, similar to the 1983 quarter, usually only worth face value unless it's in pristine, uncirculated condition. Uncirculated examples can range from $1 to $3. The 1965 Washington Quarter is one of the most interesting coins in U.S. numismatic history, primarily due to the major composition change that occurred that year. Before 1965, U.S. quarters were made of 90% silver, but due to a coin shortage and the rising cost of silver, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition in 1965. This transition led to several valuable errors and anomalies, especially rare quarters mistakenly struck on silver planchets intended for 1964 quarters. Let's explore these rare 1965 Washington quarters in detail, focusing on the most valuable errors, how to identify them, and why they are prized by collectors. 1. The 1965 Silver Planchet Quarter Error. The 1965 Washington Quarter error on a silver planchet is one of the rarest and most sought-after transitional errors in U.S. coinage. This happened when leftover silver planchets, the metal discs used to strike coins, from 1964 were accidentally fed into the minting presses and struck with the 1965 date. The 1965 quarters were officially supposed to be clad in copper-nickel, making this a particularly rare mistake that has become highly collectible. Identifying a 1965 silver quarter. Collectors looking for this error should closely examine their 1965 quarters for the following traits. Weight: a silver quarter weighs approximately 6.25 grams, while a clad quarter, the copper-nickel mixture, weighs about 5.67 grams. This subtle difference in weight is a strong indicator and is one of the most reliable ways to identify a 1965 silver quarter. Coin scales accurate to at least 1/100th of a gram are best for this test. Edge appearance: a silver planchet will have a smooth, uniform silver color along its edge. The 1982 D Washington Quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which has been one of the most iconic and widely circulated series in U.S. coinage history. Minted in 1982 at the Denver Mint, the 1982 D Quarter features the same design that has been in use since 1932, commemorating George Washington, the first President of the United States. While the 1982 D Quarter is not considered rare, its value is still of interest to collectors, particularly those who specialize in specific years or mint marks. This article provides a detailed overview of the 1982 D Washington Quarter, including its history, design, composition, mintage, and factors that determine its value in today's coin market. History of the Washington Quarter series. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features a portrait of George Washington on the obverse, front, and a heraldic eagle on the reverse, back. This design has become one of the most enduring and widely recognized coin designs in the United States. In 1965, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of the quarter due to rising silver prices. Prior to that, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. From 1965 onwards, quarters were minted using a clad composition, which consists of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. This change significantly lowered the cost of production, and the new quarters continued to feature the same design that was originally created for the 1932 coin. The 1982 D Washington quarter is part of the modern series of circulating quarters minted from 1965 onward. These coins are primarily made for use in everyday transactions, and most of the 1982 D quarters produced were used in circulation. Characteristics of the 1982 D Washington quarter. The 1982 D Washington quarter is essentially a standard issue coin, but like all coins, it carries specific characteristics that make it unique. These features include its design, composition, and minting specifics. 1. Design. Obverse, front. The obverse of the 1982 D quarter features a portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Hey everyone! Welcome back to Oldchillr 4 Coin channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins. If you've ever wondered what makes certain coins so valuable, you're in the right place. Let's uncover the top 5 ultra-rare Washington coins that could be hiding in your pocket change. The 1985 P Washington quarter, minted in Philadelphia, is a modern U.S. coin that is often found in circulation, but in rare cases, certain features or conditions can make it a collector's item. This guide delves into the history of the Washington quarter series, discusses the unique characteristics of the 1985 P quarter, explores rare variations and error coins, and analyzes its value in the collector's market. History of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The coin was designed by sculptor John Flanagan, who aimed to capture the dignified and honorable image of the nation's first president. The coin's obverse, front, side features a profile of Washington, while the reverse, back, originally displayed an eagle with outstretched wings, which remained until a series redesign in 1999 for the state quarter program. The Washington quarter was initially made with 90% silver and 10% copper until 1965 when silver was removed due to rising silver prices and coin shortages. The U.S. Mint transitioned to a copper-nickel clad composition that remains in use today. Washington quarters from the 1970s through the 1980s, including the 1985 P, are therefore made of this copper-nickel alloy. 2. 1985 P Washington quarter specifications. The 1985 P quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, represented by the P Mint mark on the coin. Here are the specific details of the coin. Mint * Philadelphia, no mint mark on earlier quarters, but the P Mint mark is present on the 1985 coin. Composition * copper nickel clad, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weight * 5.67 grams. Diameter * 24.3 millimeters. Edge * reeded, 119 reeds. Designers * John Flanagan, original obverse and reverse designs. Despite being a common date in the Washington quarter series, certain features of the 1985 P quarter can increase its value, especially if it is in high-grade condition or exhibits unique error characteristics. 3. Unique characteristics and error coins of the 1985 P quarter. Most 1985 P quarters have circulated widely and bear the expected signs of wear, but a few exceptional coins stand out due to specific error types or pristine, high-quality condition. Here's a look at some of the most notable characteristics that collectors search for in this coin. 1. Minting errors. Double die errors * These errors occur when the coin design is struck more than once in slight misalignment, resulting in doubled images. In 1985 quarters, doubling is often sought on Washington's profile, lettering, and the eagle on the reverse. Such errors are rare but can increase the value of a coin. Off-center strikes * Off-center strikes happen when a coin is not correctly centered on the blank planchet during minting. This type of error can range from minor, a few degrees off-center, to severe, where only a small portion of the design is visible. Collectors pay more for off-center strikes, with values depending on the severity of the error. Clipped planchets * A clipped planchet error occurs when part of the blank coin is accidentally removed before striking. If you find a 1985 P quarter with a noticeably clipped section along the edge, it's likely due to this rare minting error, which can add a premium to the coin's value. Struck-through errors * sometimes foreign materials, such as grease or other debris, interfere with the coin. The 1984 P Washington quarter dollar is a coin that holds historical and numismatic value, especially for collectors of modern U.S. coinage. This coin is part of the Washington Quarter series, which has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, and is the product of the U.S. Mint's efforts to produce circulating coins that reflect both historical significance and aesthetic appeal. The 1984 P quarter, minted in Philadelphia, offers a look into the late 20th century design elements of American currency, reflecting George Washington's legacy and the country's economic climate at the time. In this article, we will explore the history, design, and market value of the 1984 P Washington quarter, providing a comprehensive overview of its characteristics, as well as how collectors and investors value the coin today. We will discuss its significance within the larger context of the Washington Quarter series, the factors that influence its price, and the conditions under which this coin might be worth more than its face value. History of the Washington Quarter series. The Washington Quarter series is one of the longest-running and most recognizable series of coins in U.S. history. It was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The original design, created by John Flanagan, depicted George Washington's left-facing portrait on the obverse, with a heraldic eagle on the reverse. The Washington Quarter would go on to become one of the most widely circulated coins in U.S. history, and the design remained largely unchanged for decades. However, in 1965, in response to rising silver prices, the composition of the Washington Quarter was altered. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. Starting in 1965, to reduce the cost of production, the U.S. Mint shifted to a clad composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with no silver content. The change was made to keep the quarter's production costs in line with the value of the coin in circulation. By the time the 1984 P Washington Quarter was struck, the Mint had continued to produce millions of these clad quarters as part of the standard circulating coinage. In addition to the regular circulation strikes, special proof versions and commemorative coins were also produced, making the Washington Quarter series a popular area for both casual collectors and serious numismatists. Characteristics of the 1984 P Washington Quarter. The 1984 P Washington Quarter is a coin that carries the familiar design elements of the series, with George Washington's portrait on the obverse and a heraldic eagle on the reverse. Let's break down the specific characteristics of the coin in detail. 1. Design. Obverse, front. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The portrait was designed by John Flanagan and was first used in 1932, the year of Washington's bicentennial. In addition to the portrait, the obverse also includes the inscriptions. Liberty, above the portrait. In God We Trust, to the left of the portrait. 1984, the year of minting, located below the portrait. The 1983 P Washington Quarter dollar is a coin that holds a place in the hearts of coin collectors, especially because it marks a period when the U.S. Mint produced circulating coins in significant quantities as part of the standard coinage series. This particular coin was minted in Philadelphia and carries the familiar design of George Washington on the obverse, and a heraldic eagle on the reverse, characteristic of the Washington Quarter series. Below, we will explore the historical, numismatic, and market aspects of the 1983 P Washington Quarter, including its value today, what makes it unique, and factors affecting its price. History of the Washington Quarter series. The Washington Quarter series was first introduced in 1932, replacing the standing Liberty Quarter. It was designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and the design chosen featured a left-facing portrait of Washington by sculptor John Flanagan on the obverse. The reverse of the coin depicts a heraldic eagle. Over the years, this design would become one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. However, starting in 1965, the composition of the quarter changed from 90% silver and 10% copper to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to the rising cost of silver. The Washington quarter continued to be struck for circulation, with the main design unchanged, though there were some special commemorative issues and minor design updates over the decades. The 1983 quarter is one of the standard coins minted in the post-silver era, and while it is not a rare coin by most standards, collectors may be interested in specific characteristics, such as the mint mark, coin condition, and minting variations. Characteristics of the 1983 P. Washington quarter. 1. Design. Obverse. The obverse of the coin shows a portrait of George Washington, facing left, designed by John Flanagan. The inscriptions on the obverse are Liberty, at the top, In God We Trust, at the left, and the year, 1983, at the bottom. Reverse. The reverse of the coin shows a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, surrounded by the inscriptions, United States of America, at the top, and $quarter, at the bottom. 2. Mint mark. The 1983 quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which is denoted by the P mint mark on the reverse of the coin, below the eagle's talon. This was the first year that a P mint mark was used on quarters, following a decision by the U.S. Mint to add mint marks to all coins to help collectors distinguish where each coin was minted. 3. Composition. The 1983 P. Washington quarter, like all quarters produced from 1965 onward, is made from a clad composition consisting of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. It weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. 4. Mintage. The total mintage for the 1983 P. Washington quarter was approximately 604,028,000 coins. This high mintage figure means that the 1983 P. quarter is relatively common in terms of availability, particularly in lower grades, which keeps its value generally lower compared to rarer quarters. Determining the value of the 1983 P. Washington quarter. The value of a 1983 P. Washington quarter depends on several factors including its condition, whether it has been circulated, and any special characteristics that might make it stand out. In general, the 1983 P. Washington quarter is not considered rare, so its value is primarily based on its condition and demand in the numismatic market. 1. Circulated coins. For coins that have been in circulation and show typical wear and tear, the value is generally quite low. These coins are often valued